All right, so picture this. You walk into a distillery, but you're not just there for a tour.
Right.
You're there to lead the team,
Yeah.
crafting those delicious spirits, stepping into the role of Distillery Supervisor.
Ah, a dream job.
It is a dream for many. And today we're going to equip you with the know-how to ace those interviews. We've got that pre-interview toolkit ready.
Yeah, we do.
We're going to break down those common interview questions using insights from a Distillery Supervisor career guide. We'll reveal those insider tips that are going to make your answers shine.
And we'll sprinkle in a little bit about how RoleCatcher's AI can give you that extra edge in your prep.
You ready to distill success?
I am.
Let's dive in. First, let's map out the Distillery Supervisor landscape. It's more than just loving whiskey, right?
Yeah, it's about understanding the whole process, grain to glass, you're coordinating teams, making sure those barrels are filled with top-notch spirits, all while navigating the safety regulations and hitting those production targets. The RoleCatcher guide really paints a pretty vivid picture of this role.
It does, and it doesn't sugarcoat the work environment.
Yeah.
Fast-paced, often noisy, a lot of hands-on action.
Exactly.
Not your typical 9-to-5 desk job.
Nope, you're on your feet, troubleshooting, leading your team. And speaking of teams, let's jump into some interview questions that really dig into that leadership aspect.
Okay.
One you'll likely encounter is, describe your experience managing a team in a distillery setting.
Okay, so here is where you showcase your leadership style, but not with vague statements.
Right.
Were you collaborative, a mentor to your team? How did you handle disagreements? Specific examples are key.
Yes. Think back to situations where leadership made a difference. Maybe you implemented a new training program and that really boosted the team's efficiency or resolved a conflict that was impacting production. Those are the stories that are going to impress.
Yeah, and be ready for follow-up questions. They might ask, what's your approach to delegating tasks while maintaining quality standards? They want to know that you can trust your team, but also keep a watchful eye on those details that make a great spirit.
Absolutely. Speaking of details, let's move to another question that probes your technical know-how. How do you ensure quality control in the distilling process?
Okay.
They're not looking for generic answers here.
Right. Think beyond just saying quality is important.
Yeah.
Mention the tools that you've used, like hydrometers for measuring alcohol content, and the techniques you've mastered, like sensory analysis.
And don't just say sensory analysis. Talk about recognizing specific flavor profiles in the spirits you've worked with.
Right.
Common off notes, how you would troubleshoot them.
They might even follow up with, have you ever had to reject a batch? How did you handle it?
Right.
This is where you demonstrate your commitment to quality, even when it means making tough decisions.
Absolutely. Now, before we go any further, I want to quickly mention RoleCatcher's skill guides. They can be super helpful for brushing up on those technical aspects like quality control, and they even highlight keywords that are going to make your application stand out.
That's a great point. It's like having a personalized study guide for the interview. Okay, next question dives into your ability to adapt. How do you stay up to date with industry trends and new technologies?
The craft spirit scene, it's constantly evolving, so you want to showcase that you're not just passionate, but you're a lifelong learner.
Right.
Mention industry publications you follow, maybe Distiller Magazine, events you attend, or even online forums where you're engaging with other distillers.
It's about demonstrating that you're actively seeking knowledge, staying ahead of the curve. Are you ready for a follow-up? Like, what's an exciting new technology in distilling that you'd like to implement? This shows that you're forward-thinking and you're always looking to innovate.
Yes, and think about, how you can weave in examples of your own initiative. Did you experiment with a new technique at a previous distillery? Did you come up with a creative solution to a production challenge? These are the stories that are going to make your answers memorable.
Great advice. It's not just about what you know. It's about how you apply that knowledge.
Right.
Now let's shift gears to a question that really focuses on regulations. How do you ensure compliance with relevant regulations and standards in the distilling industry?
Yeah, safety and legality, those are paramount. This is where you highlight your knowledge of key organizations like the TTB.
Right, and don't just name drop the TTB. Briefly explain their role and mention a specific regulation they enforce that you've had experience with.
Exactly. It shows that you understand the why behind the rules.
You'll likely have follow-ups.
Yeah.
What's a specific safety protocol you'd implement in a distillery?
Right.
This is where you show your proactive approach to safety and that deep understanding of the industry's regulations.
It's about demonstrating you're not just following the rules, but creating a safe and compliant environment for everyone.
And speaking of creating an environment, let's tackle a question about company culture, teamwork.
Okay.
They might ask something like, describe a time you had to resolve a conflict with a team member.
Ooh, don't shy away from this one.
Oh,
Conflict is inevitable, and they want to see how you handle it.
right.
Focus on your approach. Did you use active listening? Did you mediate between team members? Remember to highlight the positive resolution. Did the conflict lead to better understanding or a process improvement? This shows you can turn a challenging situation into a learning opportunity.
And be ready for that follow-up. What's your strategy for giving constructive feedback to a team member who's underperforming? They want to see that you can provide support and guidance while maintaining those high standards.
Exactly. Before we dive into more questions, I want to quickly mention RoleCatcher's AI-powered CV resume builder.
Okay.
This can be a game changer, especially when it comes to tailoring your resume for this specific role.
Yeah, it uses AI to analyze the job description and highlight the skills they're looking for.
It's like having a personal resume expert.
It is.
Okay, ready for another question?
Yes, hit me.
It's all about logistics. How do you manage inventory and ensure an adequate supply of raw materials?
Okay.
So this is where you demonstrate your understanding of the supply chain,
Right.
your ability to keep things running smoothly. Think about the systems you've used for inventory management, any forecasting experience you have, and how you've tackled shortages in the past. Did you ever have to find a new supplier for a key ingredient? How did you ensure the quality remained consistent?
Exactly.
Be prepared for a follow-up, like, have you ever had to make production adjustments due to supply chain issues? What was your approach? They want to see that you can think strategically and make those difficult decisions when necessary.
It's about demonstrating that you're resourceful and can adapt to unexpected challenges, especially in an industry where ingredients and supplies can be sensitive to those external factors, right? Like weather affecting crop yields or global events impacting shipping routes. It's all part of the Distillery Supervisor's world.
It is.
Now let's move on to a question that digs into your financial acumen.
All right, lay it on me.
Discuss your experience with budgeting and financial management in a distillery setting. This is where you show them that you're not just a creative spirit enthusiast, you're also cost-conscious.
Right.
You understand the business side of things.
Yes, this is your chance to detail any experience you have with creating and managing budgets, maybe for a specific department or project. Did you implement cost-saving measures that boosted profitability? How do you analyze financial data to make those informed decisions?
And brace yourself, because they might follow up with something like, how would you balance the need for high-quality ingredients with budget constraints?
Yeah.
That's a classic dilemma, and they want to see your thought process.
It's about demonstrating that you can prioritize, make those tough choices, and find creative solutions to maintain quality while staying within budget.
Right, it's a balancing act that any distillery supervisor needs to master.
It is.
Okay, I think we've covered a good chunk of those leadership and operational questions.
Yeah, we have.
But there's one more area we need to touch on before we wrap up this first part. It's about staying organized and managing your time effectively.
Yes, because a distillery is a whirlwind of activity. So they might ask you, how do you prioritize tasks and manage your time effectively in a fast-paced distillery environment?
Right.
This is where you share your proven time management techniques. Are you a taskless guru? Do you swear by project management software? Are you a master delegator?
Yeah, and have a specific example ready of how you stayed calm and organized under pressure.
Yes.
Because they want to see that you can handle the heat when things get hectic.
Right. They want someone who can keep a cool head when multiple things are happening at once.
Be ready for that follow-up. Like, what's your approach to handling unexpected production issues while keeping the team on track? It's all about demonstrating that you're adaptable, resourceful, and can keep things moving even when you're faced with those inevitable curveballs.
Right.
Now, before we move on, I want to circle back to RoleCatcher. They have an incredible AI-powered interview practice feature that can help you really nail these answers.
Yeah.
You record yourself answering those common interview questions, and then the AI analyzes your delivery and content.
It's like having a personal interview coach giving you feedback on your pacing, your clarity, even your body language. It's fantastic for just getting comfortable with the interview process and refining your responses.
I love that. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground, but there's so much more to explore.
There is.
We've tackled some tough interview questions, gained insights from the Distillery Supervisor Career Guide, and even touched on how RoleCatcher can really elevate your prep.
Absolutely.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll delve deeper into those scenario-based questions
Yes.
and reveal even more insider tips to make you a standout candidate.
We will.
See you there.
See you there. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're ready to continue equipping you with the knowledge and skills to conquer that Distillery Supervisor interview.
We've already broken down some key questions,
We have.
but now it's time to dive into those challenging scenario-based questions.
Right.
The ones that really put your problem-solving abilities to the test.
Yeah, these questions are designed to see how you think on your feet and apply your knowledge to those real-world situations that you might encounter as a distillery supervisor.
Okay, so let's tackle one. Imagine the interviewer says, "What would you do if you noticed a decline in product quality?"
This is where they're assessing your analytical skills and your understanding of those quality control principles. They want to see a systematic approach, not just a knee-jerk reaction.
Right, so think of yourself as a detective, investigating a case.
Yes.
What would be your first steps?
Exactly. Start by gathering information. Check those batch records meticulously. Inspect the equipment for any malfunctions. Talk to your team. See if they've noticed any changes in the process or the ingredients.
And then?
Then you analyze that data like a pro. Is there a change in the raw materials? A variation in the fermentation process? Maybe an issue with a specific still? Could it even be human error?
Once you've identified that root cause, you need to outline a plan of action.
Right.
How would you correct the issue and prevent it from happening again?
This is where you showcase that proactive mindset, your commitment to continuous improvement. Maybe it involves adjusting a process parameter, retraining staff on a specific technique, or even investing in new equipment.
And don't forget to highlight any relevant experience you have with implementing quality improvement initiatives in the past.
Absolutely. Real-world examples always lend credibility to those answers. Okay, ready for another scenario?
Bring it on.
Let's say they ask you, how would you handle a situation where a customer complained about the taste of a particular batch of spirits?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
It's all about balancing customer satisfaction with your confidence in the product.
Right. It tests your customer service skills, your ability to handle those difficult conversations, and your commitment to quality.
So, first step.
Active listening is key. Hear the customer out, acknowledge their feedback, and empathize with their experience. You don't want to get defensive or dismissive.
And then what?
Just like with the previous scenario, you need to investigate. Review those batch records, check those sensory analysis results, and even conduct your own tasting to see if you can identify that off taste.
Once you've gathered information, it's time to offer a solution.
Right, and that solution will really depend on the nature of the problem. It might involve offering a replacement bottle, issuing a refund, or providing a detailed explanation of what might have caused that off taste.
Yeah, transparency is important.
Yes.
If there's a genuine issue with the batch, acknowledge it.
Right.
And explain the steps you're taking to prevent it from happening again.
Exactly. And remember, even negative feedback can be a valuable learning experience. It can help you refine your processes and improve your product.
Okay, now let's shift gears to a question that focuses on leadership and team dynamics.
Okay.
The interviewer might ask, how would you motivate your team to achieve production goals?
This is your chance to showcase your leadership style and your ability to inspire others. Think about what motivates you and how you can translate that to your team.
Is it about clear communication, setting challenging but achievable goals, fostering a collaborative, supportive work environment?
Yeah, or maybe recognizing and rewarding those individual contributions, or providing opportunities for professional development. The key is to tailor your approach to the specific needs and personalities of your team.
And be ready for a follow-up question like, how would you handle a team member who's consistently underperforming?
This is a challenging but essential aspect of leadership.
That is.
It requires a balance of empathy and firmness.
Right. You need to understand the reasons behind the underperformance. Is it lack of training, personal issues, misaligned expectations?
Once you've identified that root cause, you can then provide constructive feedback, offer support, and create a plan for improvement.
It's about holding people accountable while also creating that space for growth and development.
Right. Before we move on to our next question, I want to quickly highlight RoleCatcher's Copilot AI feature.
Okay.
This is a game changer when it comes to answering those tricky application questions.
Copilot AI.
Yeah, imagine you're filling out an application form and you come across a question like, describe a time you had to implement a new process in a fast-paced production environment.
It's familiar.
With Copilot AI, you can get AI-powered suggestions for answering those questions. It analyzes the question, considers your skills and experience, and suggests key points to include in your response.
Wow, that would definitely take some of the stress out of those application questions.
It's like having a virtual assistant, helping you craft the perfect answer. Okay, ready for another scenario-based question?
Absolutely. Let's hear it.
Let's say the interviewer asks, what are some key considerations for maintaining a safe and efficient distillery operation?
This one really tests your understanding of safety protocols, operational efficiency, and risk management.
Think about those potential hazards that exist in a distillery environment. Hot equipment, flammable liquids, heavy machinery.
And be prepared to discuss specific safety measures you would implement, like regular safety training, equipment inspections, emergency procedures.
Forget about efficiency.
Right.
Talk about ways to optimize production processes, minimize waste, and improve workflow.
It's about demonstrating that you're committed to creating a workplace that's both productive and safe, a place where everyone can thrive.
Exactly. Now let's wrap up this section with a question that focuses on your long-term vision. The interviewer might ask, where do you see yourself in 5 years within the distilling industry?
Ah, the classic career aspirations question.
It is.
This is your chance to showcase your ambition, your goals, and your passion for the industry.
Think about your ideal trajectory. Do you see yourself moving up that management ladder? Specializing in a particular type of spirit production, maybe even starting your own craft distillery.
Be honest and enthusiastic.
Right.
They want to see that you're driven and you have a clear vision for your future.
And make sure your answer aligns with the company's growth trajectory and values. It shows you've done your research and you're thinking about how you can contribute to their success.
These have been some fantastic insights into those challenging scenario-based questions.
They have.
I feel like we're really giving our listeners the tools they need to impress those interviewers.
Absolutely. We've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
But there's one more area we need to explore.
Okay.
It's about leveraging the power of AI to take your interview prep to the next level.
Intriguing. Tell me more.
In our final segment, we'll dive deeper into RoleCatcher's AI-powered tools and how they can help you create a standout application and ace those interviews.
All right, welcome back to the deep dive. We're in the final stretch of prepping for that Distillery Supervisor interview. You know what they say, the finish line, that's where the magic happens.
Absolutely. We've covered the landscape of the role, dissected those tough questions. Now it's time to really polish your presentation with the help of AI.
Okay, I'm all ears. Tell me, how can RoleCatcher help us seal the deal? We've already touched on their CV resume builder and interview practice features.
Right.
But what else is up their sleeve?
So imagine this. You've made it past the initial screening and you're getting ready for a virtual interview.
Okay.
You want to make sure your background is professional, your lighting is on point, and your body language is really conveying that confidence.
Yeah, it's a lot to think about, even for someone who's comfortable in interviews. The virtual setting, it adds another layer of complexity.
It does, and that's where RoleCatcher's AI-powered virtual interview coach comes in.
Okay.
It analyzes your video, providing feedback on your appearance, your environment, even your nonverbal communication.
It's like having a personal stylist and a communication expert all roll into one.
Precisely. It can pick up on things that you might not even notice, like distracting background elements or those nervous habits that could be sending the wrong message.
That's incredible. It's like having an extra set of eyes, helping you put your best foot forward, even in a virtual setting. So what else? What else can this AI do?
Well, there's another game changer, RoleCatcher's AI-powered thank you note generator.
Okay, I have to admit, I sometimes struggle with writing those thank you notes. It's easy to fall into those generic phrases that don't really stand out.
Yeah, I hear you, but with RoleCatcher's AI, you can create those personalized thank you notes that reinforce your key strengths and reiterate your enthusiasm for the role.
So it's not just about saying thank you. It's about using that note as a final opportunity to make a lasting impression.
Exactly. The AI can even suggest specific details to mention from the interview, demonstrating that you were actively listening and genuinely interested in the role.
That's brilliant. It takes the guesswork out of crafting those thank you notes and ensures you're leaving a positive and memorable impression. Okay, let's take a step back and reflect on what we've learned in this deep dive.
Yeah.
We've explored the Distillery Supervisor role, unpacked those challenging interview questions, and discovered how RoleCatcher's AI can give you a competitive edge.
Right. But beyond those technical skills and the
Ah.
polished presentation,
Mm-hmm.
there's one crucial ingredient that will set you apart: passion.
Absolutely. The distilling industry is driven by a love for the craft, a dedication to quality, and a desire to create something truly exceptional.
Exactly.
Let that passion shine through in your interviews.
It will.
Talk about your favorite spirits, your inspirations, your vision for the future of the industry.
Yes.
Show them that you're not just looking for a job, you're pursuing a dream. And remember, RoleCatcher is there to support you every step of the way.
They are.
So go out there and make your mark on the world of craft spirits. We believe in you. That's a wrap on this episode of The Deep Dive. We've covered a lot of ground,
We have.
but the journey of becoming a distillery supervisor, well, it's just beginning.
It is.
Keep learning, keep experimenting, and never stop pursuing that passion. And
Absolutely.
until next time, cheers to your success.
Cheers.